phone. Mm, 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 I just jumped a band director. I got a brand new saxophone. Hallelujah. What's good? What's good? Bro, what's the vibe tonight, bro? I've been reading. I've been reading Romans. Low key, I kind of want to read some with y'all because I've been Drake. Hey Drake, how you doing, bro? Man of God, I've been doing pretty good. Raywin was good. Raywin was good, my people. It's been a minute since I've gone live. It's been a long time, as a matter of fact. Um, I've been kind of in the cut a little bit. I feel like I haven't been posting as much either, but I'm alive. I'm well. I'm great. I'm here. I'm somewhere. I'm here. I'm here. Um, but I've been doing a lot of how do I put this? I've been doing a lot of kind of you know, self auditing. You know what I'm saying? Um, I've been reading a lot of Romans. It's talking about how it started off with the Jews and the Gentiles. It talked about Abraham and how when Abraham decided to follow God, he didn't follow God necessarily because of the law, but he followed God because of faith. And because of his faith, that's what granted God, um, the promise to Abraham of many nations. And I realized, like, okay, if I'm going to follow God, right? If I'm going to follow God, I am going to. It's not. It's a decision I have to make. But at the end of the day, us following Christ is by faith, right? We follow Christ by faith and not by sight, right? Because sure, we can see things that may be working right in our lives, but oftentimes we don't see the vision, right? And I've been reading a lot of Romans, and actually I've been in Romans. I've been reading the book of Proverbs about wisdom. Yeah, I've read a lot of Proverbs before. Um, but the thing with Romans is it's one of those books where it talks a lot about God and His love and what everything kind of means when it comes to Jesus and why God sent His Son and you know the Jews and the Gentiles and how the Jews believe they're better than the Gentiles and how God was also it also talked about how God doesn't choose favorites, you know God doesn't choose favorites, right? Because all of us are His chosen and called people, right? And you know, I think about that. Like, if we are His chosen people, and we are given an assignment, if we are His chosen people and we are given an assignment, then why are we not fulfilling that assignment? I got a question for you. Please don't take offense. I mean, your name is LaFlame Meat Rider, so this question is going to be interesting. Um, but ask your question. What is with black people and smoke alarm batteries? That's just I don't know. That's a social media thing. I don't know. I don't know. Raywin, bro, you're black, bro. What are you talking about? Anyway, um, I mean, the smoke alarm. That's not really. That's kind of like a, like. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people just forget to replace them, and maybe you predominantly see it in people of color's households. I don't know. That's just how it goes. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm in the part of where it's basically talking about how nothing can separate us from God, and I want to read what is this? Romans chapter 8, verse 31, which says, "What shall we say about such wonderful things as these? If God is for us, who can ever be against us? Since he did not spare even his own son, but gave him up for us all, won't he also give up everything else? Who dares accuse us, whom God has chosen for his own? No one, for God himself has given us right standing with himself. Who then will condemn us? No one, for Christ Jesus died for us, was raised to life for us." So I also read this one, bro. I recently got my new. He reads Truth Bible. That's good, bro. Yeah, I've been I think there was a question in the reading, and it was talking about where was it at? I think I marked it in here too. Oh, it says, so do y'all know the reason why God sent us biblically, right? Or why God sent Jesus in the first place? What was Jesus' purpose in all of this, right? He was handed over to die because of our sins, and he was raised to life to make us right with God. That's Romans chapter 4, and that's verse 25, right? He was handed over to die because of our sins, right? So that's that. Remember in the Old Testament, a lot of times people were giving up goats, people were giving up children, people were giving up different riches, sacrificing, family members, or giving, they were sacrificing, animals, livestock, different things. But in the New Testament, right, a lot of it was because of Jesus. Those sacrifices didn't have to take place. That's why I thank God for it, because we don't have to give up things to gain things. Like when it comes to superficial things, right? So if we've already have Jesus on our side, what is the point of thinking about, okay, I'm gonna give up, um, I don't know, like sure, if you're trying, it's a different situation if you're trying to give up. Let's say you're trying to stop smoking, right? And then you are like, okay, I'm gonna stop buying, cigarettes, because if you buy a cigarette, it's gonna entice you to go back to that habit. Or if you see somebody else and you're around people who smoke, it's going to entice you to want to share with them, or it's going to entice you to want to smoke. It's not in that matter. It's more so in the matter that, okay, I understand what a sacrifice meant in the Old Testament. Now I understand what Jesus' sacrifice meant. Right? It was a sacrifice for all mankind. So God doesn't choose favorites, because He chose all of us. You just got to be willing to open your eyes to the possibilities. You got to be willing to open your eyes to potential, to your potential. You got to be open to the gifts that you've been given. You got to open your eyes to your abilities, your purpose, your gifts, your talents. And I watched this guy named FedEx Fearless, if y'all have heard of him. He's like one of those self-improvement YouTuber, personal branding people. And one of the biggest things he talks about is, how we spend time watching, professional athletes, or how we spend time watching other people accomplish their dreams and their goals, when in reality we have all, God gave us all purpose and plans, and we're watching everybody else succeed, and we're not encouraging ourselves to succeed. That is literally kind of, if you really think about it, sure, like sports are entertaining, right? Comedy shows are entertaining. Sure, like even going to a basketball game is entertaining. But wouldn't you want to be somebody who brings value, and who has been blessed with value, to unleash that value and give that value to the world? Bringing souls to Christ, that's giving value. If you know your word, and like you're a follower of Christ, and you feel like that's your purpose, and that is a purpose we've all been given, why not exercise that purpose? Why not improve that purpose? Why not execute that purpose? Why not make content? Why not make videos? Why not do that stuff? Even if you get 2 views, 3 views. Look, I learned this, and if y'all have looked at my views, they have gone down. I have learned this. And because before, when I first started on YouTube, my views weren't good. But like I started getting lackadaisical with my posting. I started getting lackadaisical with my journey with God. I started getting lackadaisical with certain things. Then I started realizing, like, okay, I was given a gift. I was blessed with a community. I was blessed to make videos. I was blessed to do whatever I do. And still, like, regardless of who sees the video, I'm blessing people. At the end of the day, if you know the purpose of what you do, if you have a plan and a purpose, and if your perspective is to bless others, that is what is edifying. I understand that, other people may not see the vision. Who cares what other people say? Who cares what their vision is of your life? Because that's their opinion, that's how they see you. Sure, God may speak through those people, but at the end of the day, it's your life. God's going to speak towards you regardless. So I don't care. Don't get yourself caught up in what everybody else wants your life to look like. I feel like I just gave y'all like 4 or 5 different lessons in that one span of just rambling. But honestly, that's how I look at it. If you have goals, dreams, aspirations, if you want to make more money, if you want to have a business, if you want to post Christian content, if you want to do these things, you got to make a plan for it, but you got to have God first. You got to let God lead you. You got to have a foundation, and you got to understand that you have purpose. But that's besides the point. And look, I'm gonna talk about this, right? So when you go to chapter 4 of Romans, and you go to verse 13, it says, "Clearly God's promise to give the whole earth to Abraham and his descendants were not based on his obedience to God's law, but on a right relationship with God that comes by faith." Right? So God wasn't going to declare a nation for Abraham unless he had faith. Unless he had faith, right? If God's promise is not only for those who obey the law, then faith is not necessary and the promise is pointless, right? That's like following God, right? With no faith. That's like being scared in the moment, right? And not believing that the outcome can be good, or that the outcome won't shake out, or that's like you constantly being scared to go talk to that one girl who God has been putting on your heart for the longest time. Now Satan may be trying to put that on your heart too, but you'll know, you'll know. I promise you, you'll know if it's from God. One thing I've realized is when things are for me and when they're not, when they're from God and when they're not, is when I approach the situation and there's a lot of weirdness, there's a lot of awkwardness. Sure, there, these things are going to happen even if God is interceding. But if there's a lot of confusion, if there's a lot of toxicity, if there is a lot of, um, let's say, what's the word? What's the word, y'all? If there is a lot of, I don't want to say victim blaming, but if there is a lot of shakiness, and if it's rough, there is a there is a high chance, and there's a very high chance. There's a very high chance that this is Satan trying to intrigue you and trying to bring you this specific individual, and that person is not for you. But then you got your other side, right, where God is clearly been putting this person on your heart. You've been seeing this person. You go to the gym and see this person. You'll go to the store, you'll see this person. You'll be in your house. Next thing you know, you on Instagram scrolling. You shouldn't be scrolling. I promise you, you're gonna get caught up. But you're scrolling on Instagram or whatever, and you see her name or something, or you see their name, and it's like, okay, maybe I should talk to this person, or maybe I should follow this person, maybe I should did it. What I'm trying to say is, what I learned when it comes to following God and having faith is that the life that you plan for and pray for is not always going to come true. And that's fine. You're going to have to accept that. We know that. If you've been alive on this earth, you understand that life goes into many different directions. If you've been living long enough, you understand that. Even if you're 5, 6, 7 years old, you'll understand that, even as like a young kid, especially in 2025. Understanding that faith is what we must follow by, right? Because like I said, you can't see God, right? So you got those people who are like, I can't see God, so why would I follow God? Why would I follow something I can't see? Why would I even believe in something I can't see? Right? You can't see, you have a vision of how much money you can make, right? But it hasn't happened to you yet. Yeah, sure, you believe you can make $1 million. But do you have $1 million, and has that come true yet? Because yes, you see other people have $1 million, but do you see yourself with $1 million? Yes, because you believe. You don't physically have the $1 million, but you believe you can get there. You believe you can get $1 million plus business. You believe you can get, you could graduate from your dream school, you could do all these things. You believe, right? You have faith in it, but you don't see it yet. Right? Think about the creation of the world as described in Genesis. Because even when I'm reading, everything is very, very orderly. Right? Everything is in order. Right? God designed different things on different days, and then He slept on the last. But we gonna sit here. We gonna sit here and talk about a big boom, big bang. I didn't even say it right. We gonna sit here and talk about a big bang. Everything just fell into place perfectly from a boom. Everything fell into place. Everything works together. Just just the plants provide us with with oxygen, right? Carbon dioxide towards the plants. We get oxygen, right? We know what we know about photosynthesis, cellular respiration. If you've taken biology, right? Everything works within itself. The plants get energy. Plants get what's it called? Glucose, right? Plants get glucose, water, these different things that allow it to grow to produce fruit, so that it can be given to us, so we can, you know, intake it and be blessed that way. My thing is, I just don't understand how, as a regular human being, you can believe in it. You can always believe science, because science is not 100% true. It's not. Science. That's why experiments fail. Like, do you ever think about why experiments fail when it's science? Sure, you could prove it, but there's also a case where things can go wrong, right? But notice how everything that was unfolded in the world is in the Bible. And everything, every continent, every island is placed at certain places. Sure, you can say because of earthquakes. You can say because of plate tectonics. You can talk about, aerial shifts. You could talk about, wind. You could talk about the sea. You could talk about storms. You could hurricanes, tsunami. You could talk about all that devastation. You could talk about that all day long. But what doesn't make sense to me is a big boom. I keep saying big boom because it doesn't make sense. Can you pray for me? I'm struggling with lust. Yeah, I got you, bro. Yeah, the hair getting a little long, but I don't know really. I can't do much with it right now, so I can't wait till I get my hair back, y'all. It's gonna be a process. It's gonna be a grind. I'm gonna have like dookie braids whenever I can finally like get my hair braided again. But baby, in a car, I'm driving in a car. Hey Lucas, I advise you, if you click on my recent video, click that Discord link in the bio, and I have a whole community in there, and we could pray for you collectively. So go to my recent video. So go underneath my channel, click videos, and then click on my recent video. Go to the description. Go to the description and click at that Discord link. That's man-made for sure. The Big Bang. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what's crazy about that? How are you going to say it's a Big Bang? How are you even testing a Big Bang? Y'all are making like, if it's science, how are you testing the Big Bang? Because this is the thing about science. Some stuff, well, what do they say in science? Majority of things are explained, or everything is explained and can be explained. So you're gonna sit here and tell me everything just, boom, it all just perfectly laid out? Like, is that what you're gonna tell me? Look, if you don't believe in it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Now I'm sure like somebody has done like a whole big study on this Big Bang creation of the world stuff, but which I low key want to look into. But yeah, yeah, that yeah. But anyway, yo, I just came on here for a little bit because I haven't been on in a minute, and I kind of just want to see what the flow was. Hope you have a good night. Thanks for all the advice, bro. It's just consistency is my biggest problem. Yeah, consistency is my problem too, bro. I have consistency in the gym. Lucas, I joined Discord, sir. Okay, bad, bro. We're gonna take care of you in there, bro. Appreciate it, Lucas. Yeah, bro. My biggest thing is consistency, and it's not even consistency in like lifting or like my body or anything. Um, hold on. It's consistency. It's consistency in my walk. It's consistency in my walk, and it's a consistency with my posting. It's a consistency with just like life in general. Can't have instant gratification, and that's a difficult piece that um I can't seem to grasp. Like I can't have that now because I don't have that now, but I can have that later if I just go through the struggle. Um, I just struggle to be who God created me to be, but I have the desire to be. Well, that's something you're gonna have to pray about. But also, what I can tell you is that if you read about a lot of the people in the Bible, a lot of them struggle with their own desire, right? Because they wanted to be, they were given gifts, but they were also given curses. Some of them, like some of these people in the Bible, they were given strengths, but they allowed their strengths to be their biggest downfall. And so, if you're struggling to be who God created you to be, maybe let go your ego. Maybe if you have an ego, drop it. Also, if you find yourself wandering, find something to focus on. Focus on your goal, right? Focus on a goal. Focus on a task. If you're in school, focus on your schoolwork, and then after your schoolwork, study or do something productive. Always be productive. If you are productive, you will feel a lot more fulfillment. I promise you. Like yes, it is very true that God will make you feel fulfilled, but also it's important to acknowledge the fact that you need to be fulfilled in the purpose that you have been given. So, for instance, if you feel like you have a purpose of, I don't know, being a power lifter, right? You're going to do whatever you need to do to understand what it takes to be a power lifter. Form, technique, what you eat, what you, how much rest you need, just different things, different avenues. And then so you'll look at that and that's the thing. I made that recent reel when it comes to lust. I had to battle lust, right? And the last one is called focusing on your goals. So focusing on your goals. The thing with your goals is when it's on your vision board or when it's a vision in your mind, then it's like it's one of those things where you have tunnel vision about it. Cut everything off. Not necessarily cut off friends, but and not even necessarily distance yourself, but have that tunnel vision, that focus that you need, so you can accomplish what you want to do. Because a lot of times it's between you and your goal. It's you and your goal, right? It's the decisions you make and your goal. Like a lot of people, and I'm learning this sort of like a lot of people can be the you who you have in your circle can be the make it or break it, you know, what's the word, factor in you being successful and you failing, right? I mean, ultimately you give up, but the right people will push you towards God and towards your goals, and the wrong people will constantly be babbling and constantly be fake and will constantly do things to throw you off. Because the thing about people who don't have your best interests at heart is that they'll always come with problems. They'll always come with distractions. They'll always come with their own agenda. But it's not. But it's not about necessarily uplifting you. It's about putting their problems, putting y'all's or the problems they have with you on a pedestal above your goals. When at the end of the day, when you get one life, you don't get a redo. You have to go attack every day, right? Every day you already have problems that come with the struggle of trying to succeed. Why are you why are you allowing outside influences to knock you off your path? I don't know. That's how I've started to look at like just my goals in general. It's like if you're not trying to help me accomplish my goals, or you're not like pushing me towards God, I don't even want you around me. I could care less if we talk again. I could care less if we're friends. I could care less if you're even in my circle. I don't care. Like if you're not helping me, if you're doing weird stuff, if you're being weird, if you're being flaky, if you're not being supportive, if you're not, I don't care. Get away from me. Like that's honestly been my mentality. If you don't have my best interest at heart, I don't want you around me. That's just how it is. And that's how you should think about it too. If someone isn't giving you value, if someone isn't trying to elevate you, if somebody's just getting in your way, why are you keeping them around you? I've really been I've really been dealing with that a lot. Honestly, hold on, y'all. Let me reposition my camera a little bit. Like honestly, that's what I've been dealing with. Hold on, hold on. It's my charger. I love having quiet time with God before the world wakes up. Yeah, I typically read at like 7. Yeah, around like 7. Um, Baby, oh wait, no, it's still okay. I was like, what is wrong with this thing? What's still wrong with it? My bad. I've been looking for more kingdom-minded friends. There are some out there. I don't have many friends, so I'm not a guy to really talk to about that. I really don't have many friends, but I do have some pretty good friends. Hold on. I was trying to make sure my charger was on. Oh, bro, stupid. Um, it's so, and sometimes you won't even always find your kingdom-minded friends at the church, bro. Like you may even find some kingdom friends in like, and this may sound crazy, but you might find kingdom friends in the world. They won't be of the world, but we live on earth, right? Um, but like back to what I was saying, like what I just don't understand how. Hold on. I don't understand how you would want people in your life who are just gonna just be in the way, especially like a relationship, bro. Especially that's one. I'm telling you, bro. One thing I learned when it comes to relationships is when like when somebody doesn't like when somebody isn't pushing you forward and they're not elevating with you, I'd get rid of them, bro. Or you don't necessarily have to get rid of them, but be a distance. Be at a distance, bro. Like I've had so many people who like do just weird stuff, who are fake, or who just move weird. I just don't fool with that. I think that's why I don't have a lot of friends. But I mean, I'm fine with that because it's a lot more peaceful over here. I'll tell y'all that. But telling y'all this, bro, you don't you don't gotta blend in with the crowd. You don't gotta be like nobody else. You don't have to, bro. You don't have to do anything outside of your body to be cool with a certain group of people. Like I really could care less. Like I could really care less about your feelings. Like, hey man, what are your thoughts on sleep paralysis? Is it demonic? What should I do? Sleep paralysis. Um, I mean, I've personally never had sleep paralysis. Well, I can't even speak. I've personally not had sleep paralysis, but I've had like we've obviously had bad dreams. I know it's like a whole different thing. Um, I don't necessarily know too much when it comes to sleep paralysis. I can look into it. I know it's like when you can't move or speak while you're like sleeping or like waking up or I'm trying to think. It's probably now that I think about it, it's some type of hallucination. But it might be your body reacting to some kind of anxiety deep down that you have or like a stress you have. Because I know for me, like if I know when I'm super stressed because I feel way more tired and it feels like I get tired faster when I'm stressed. Like, and then when I'm asleep, like I wake up randomly. That's how I know I'm stressed. Like I wake up randomly at weird times. I'll think, I'll go to sleep at like midnight, and it'll feel like I've slept for like 5, 6, 7 hours when really I've only slept for 1 hour. Like I've, I've had that feeling multiple times. And I understand like the feeling because like whenever especially like when you're stressed, sleep be hitting different. But when you stress and it's during the day, I'm telling you, I get tired so fast. I want to connect with God more deeply. Then you gotta take it more personal. That means you're gonna have to distance yourself from people because it's personal. If you want to connect with God on a deeper level, you're gonna have to really like cut out some stuff. You can some things you can do to connect with God more. You could fast and pray more to really hear God, to really connect with God on a deeper level. You can even you can have Bible studies by yourself. What I like to do is, especially like something I challenge myself every day is to get up early and read because that's what I struggle with is consistency. Like I said, consistency reading. And so I know the gym is something I'm consistent at. So the gym isn't something I'm like super worried about when it comes to being consistent. But reading every day and like stuff like that's something I'm trying to get better at. But yeah, if you want to connect with God on a deeper level, bro, you gotta um you gotta make some changes to your you gotta make some changes to your what's around you. Like you gotta have some tunnel vision with that. Um, and a strong connection is built on faith. So you're gonna have to continue to walk the path that God set for you, and you're gonna have to go through it alone. Sometimes there are gonna be some people there, but a lot of times you're gonna have to go through it alone, and that's fine. Hey, y'all see the hair growing though? I see it. Hold on. Hold on. No, let me stop. I want to connect with God, bro. Yo, I'm real life tired. I'm real life tired. I'm gonna catch y'all, bro. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all have a good one, man.